Hello! Unlike the other videos, I'm starting this a little differently. And for a very good reason. I find Cutter to be the worst ability in this whole game. Oh boy, yeah. Mirror's range is short, but at least it made up for it. Cutter has range, but the range attacks are pathetically weak, and in order to do some actual decent damage, you need to get way too close for comfort. Final Cutter requires you to be close enough, and even then, the collision for that seems to be very picky on when it wants to activate and when it doesn't. The downward Cutter attack is more controllable, but it is terrible short range. You can't control the angle that you go down in, and it has very, very short range for the, I think it's like 20 damage that you end up doing with it, or 22, I forget. This is, yeah, okay. If you want to play it safe, you can do it. You can do it like 15 minutes, maybe, I don't know. But I don't want to split this in two parts, so I'm gonna play this very dangerously and getting hit by Crackle, because I wanna finish off Crackle really quickly with the downward slash. It's just, if you want to finish this, play it safe. You can do this, but it's gonna be very time consuming. I don't want a time consuming video. I don't want to split these videos into two parts, because I know you can do this in one part. It's just, well, yeah. With King DDD, I probably could have done a downward slash, but really, I don't want to risk it when it's unnecessary. I mean, yeah, it's just very dangerous if you want to do it like that. You have no idea how dangerous it is, I suppose, maybe. And Dynablade would seem like a great idea to do a downward slash with, except that it places you in the face of danger. So I pretty much just jump and mash the button at this rate, because it's really the only, this is really a really safe plan of action you have with Dynablade. And even add more insult to injury. She jumps up when I jump, and I don't even know how I got hit there, but I'm getting hit in so many stupid ways. Against Dynablade of all bosses, Dynablade's supposed to be easy. I hesitate a bit because I don't know if I want a tomato, and here's Fatty Whale. I mean, the main problem is that the cutters do pathetic damage for how short range they have. Well, not short range, but it's short range, it's range at the same time. But the actual attacks that actually do damage have pathetic range. In fact, getting punished so hard here that I'm already low on life. In fact, I challenge you. If you want to say that I suck with Cutter and can do so much better with it, I challenge you. Put up a video response, because I want to see it. It's just, there's so many things that are fundamentally wrong with Cutter that well, yeah, it's just pretty much that it's pathetic damage output for how much range, or rather lack of range, that you have. At least with abilities like Mirror and Wheel, you have alternatives to position yourself and do good to decent damage with otherwise. In fact, Jet has an alternative too. At least the basic danger attack that you have with Jet and Wheel gives you invincibility. Cutter does not. And that is a big problem regarding Cutter, because you don't have the invincibility when you're pretty much charging in the face of danger. Which would be a lot more tolerable if you did get that said invincibility, but you don't. And here's a case of the final Cutter not activating when it needed to. I was tossing like 2 Cutter blades at the walrus before I actually did activate final Cutter. And yeah, I slid too close to the... And just... so many problems with this ability. The dash attack does give you invincibility, but honestly, the dash attack doesn't need the invincibility. It's the downward stab attack that honestly I believe needs the invincibility much more. So here we are, Twin Woods. At least touching Twin Woods in most cases. There are like a few rare cases where I found myself taking damage from touching Twin Woods or Wispy Woods, which I found a little odd. I don't know if this was fixed in Superstar Ultra, but I remember this happened a lot in Superstar. Regardless, there's Twin Woods, next is Heavy Lobster, more positioning problems. But yeah, we'll just follow it up with the Final Cutter. And slide, this is like a little slide when you land from the downwards attack. That's the second time already that I got hit just by running to him like that. The Final Cutter does a lot of damage, yes, but you need to initiate the 4 hits. And there we go! I was trying to do a Final Cutter that whole time, and it was not activated. I was at melee range the entire time, and it was not activated. Pathetic. That was pathetic. Sure, you might say I sound like I'm complaining about the ability, which is true. I don't like the ability. I hate it. I mean, here, trying to figure out the right way to maximize damage against the Pure Virus here with Cutter, which apparently I tried the Downward Slash and Final Cutter, tried in another order, and there you go. There it is. It's the Final Cutter, then the Downward Slash. You have to be fast enough to nail them with both hits, though. Or both attacks, and you'll barely get 66% 66 points of damage on it if you time it right. With Final Cutter, it's the Cutter beam that does the most damage from it. All the other hits are just there. So yeah, I believe the Cutter blades do about like 10 to 12 damage. I forget how much exactly, but yeah. Yeah, Great Dragon's the first attack. And he flashes gigantic wings. Oh yay, it's like you need a longer video, right? This ability sucks! Look at that! Final Cutter didn't want to activate. I don't know if I was too close or what, or too far or what, but either way, it didn't want to activate when I really needed it to. Yet I was just that far, yet it activated then, not earlier. I don't know. That the challenge is still up. If you want to say that you do better with Cutter, or show me what I'm doing wrong with Cutter, I welcome you to try. Because there are so many things wrong with the ability that I think makes it the worst ability in the game. Speaking of terms like this, you know, when you're screwing up, when it's iffy on how far you have to be for Final Cutter to actually activate. And Final Cutter already puts you in a very dangerously close range, so relying on that for your main damage output is pathetic. And you can't really rely on a downward stab for damage output because in most cases it often puts you in the face of danger too close for comfort. Look at that, just out of spite, the game decides to taunt me by... or my timing is terrible anyway, I don't know. But either way, it seemed like the game was trying to taunt me by trying to like, make it live with 8 HP, whatever. There's Meta Knight. I'm not really looking forward to this one, but yeah, that was a great start already. I touched Meta Knight to get hit. Now he uses Mock Tornado. I activate Final Cutter. I get hit on him twice, really stupidly. That's terrible. This is terrible. It's also terrible that the only attack that gives you invincibility with the Cutter's moveset is the dash attack. That shouldn't be possible. Or not possible, but it shouldn't be... It shouldn't be the only move with invincibility, honestly. If you're gonna have two high risk, high reward moves, you should be rewarded somehow much more. Either give Final Cutter more range or give the downward stab more range. I forgot how what that downward stab is called. Yeah, I'm losing my words here. I mean, I would understand if it had, you know, decent range or at least higher damage output, but the damage output isn't even that good. Mirror's cut outranges it. The Sword Slash is outrange it. And both those attacks do rival the amount of damage that Cutter can put out with that one attack. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. I can realize that each ability fulfills its different niche. Yes, that's true. But Cutter fills it with the Cutter spam. It seems like the other two attacks are just there for filler. But if I wanted to fit a video into a reasonable amount of time, you know, considering the YouTube upload limits, That would mean I need to not upload, but I need to rush it a bit so that, you know, maximize damage rather than play it safe, which leads to a lot of really dangerous gameplay techniques being used here. In fact, I'm already missing my attacks. I try to hit the hand when it comes down, but I get grabbed instead. I run into the stupid hand. Oh my god, this is terrible. I mean, it's hard to position yourself on the fly. Either I'm doing something wrong, or it's just very hard to position yourself on the fly when you're trying to aim with the downward stab, which is the most reliable source of, you know, actual damage you can put out against the boss. Since he doesn't really stay still long enough with his hands to use the final cutter. And look, that rock should have finished me off. That's terrible. I was so careless this one. But you know what? We're running out of time. Goodbye. I'll see you next time.